Hey guys, and welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about some of the better value bets against the spread in college basketball for January 23rd, 2017. Got about 6 games that I'm going to be touching on in this particular video, and if you're interested in what those games are, I'll list them in the video description. Also, if you want to get our main site daily free play, you can head on over to stumpthespread.com by clicking the logo in the top right hand corner of the video if you're on desktop, and we'll also link Stump the Spread in the video description. Yesterday's 1 unit free play came through with Northern Kentucky covering the spread in that one against Detroit. Hopefully we can get another one going today. We were pretty hot last week with our free plays. The one on Saturday didn't come through, but other than that, some pretty strong showings there. So again, if you're interested in that, you can head on over to our main site. And if you're interested in getting more of this pick content in the future in video format, you can click that subscribe button, and also if you can click the thumbs up on this video, it's greatly appreciated and really helps us out. First game that I want to touch on in today's particular video is going to be over in the horizon between Cleveland State against Wisconsin Green Bay. Cleveland State has been battling their way through an extended road slate. Really unfortunate for Cleveland State here. They're in the midst of a 4-game road swing, and this is going to be the third leg of that particular situation for Cleveland State. The Vikings really haven't had an overwhelming amount of success this season. They stand just 6-14 overall and 2-6 in conference. In their last outing, Cleveland State showed quite a bit of fight, but the Vikings still came up short, losing at Milwaukee by a final of 62-63. That can really be quite a demoralizing result as Cleveland State continues their long road trip here going up to Green Bay. This Cleveland State has had their issues, and it's really stemmed from their offensive production, as the Vikings rank just 310th in the nation in scoring average, and their defense is also below average, ranking 181st in the nation in points given up. And then the home team, we got Green Bay. They got off to a hot start in conference play, winning their first 5 games, including a 76-75 win on the road against this Cleveland State group. But the Phoenix have been fading a bit as of late, coming off back-to-back losses against Valpo and Youngstown State. Green Bay has an excellent shot to get back on track today at home against one of the weaker teams in the league. And, the Phoenix already know that they can beat this group, as they were able to beat Cleveland State on the road earlier in conference play. Green Bay has been one of the better offensive squads in the horizon, ranking 53rd in the nation in scoring compared to 281st in total defense. Green Bay does a great job of spreading the ball around on the offensive end, with 6 players averaging at least 9 points per game. It's going to be interesting to see if this Cleveland State squad has anything left in their tank, and going against one of the best offensive teams in the conference, it could be tough for the Vikings to keep pace in this one, especially if Green Bay is able to build up at that lead early on. And again, Cleveland State even has another road game after this one, so fatigue's got to be an issue or somewhat of a factor for this group. And just given, the fact that Green Bay's already beaten Cleveland State on the road, and they bring in a significant edge on the offensive side of the ball in this one, we do like the home team to go on to win and cover this moderate spread here. All right, guys, next game that I want to touch on just very quickly is going to be this Troy versus Arkansas Little Rock game. Troy has performed very well on the road over the past couple of months. Even though they haven't necessarily been racking up wins on the road, they've been very competitive in a lot of their road defeats. Even going all the way back to the non-conference, Troy was able to put up some nice results, pushing a team like USC on the road or Wyoming on the road in some really tough environments. And they've carried that over into conference play, really competing hard. And the Sun Belt's a very competitive conference this year. We've seen that with a lot of back-and-forth results. Troy was competitive in their last outing on the road, and we do think that, especially offensively, this is a group that has shown really strongly on the offensive side of the ball this year that they should be able to push Little Rock here and perhaps get the upset, but even getting the points, Troy's just been a really solid play on the road over the last month or two. So we do like Troy again here, giving the points on the road as the better bet. And then moving over into some bigger conference action, we got a matchup over in the Big 12 here between Oklahoma and Texas that I want to get into. So Oklahoma has been playing some much better ball as of late, and the resurgence has coincided with their best player, Jordan Woodard, returning to the lineup. Oklahoma was really surprising some groups over the past week or so with their home win against Texas Tech, and then their road win against West Virginia was very impressive. In their last outing, Oklahoma came up just short at home, losing to Iowa State in what was yet another very competitive matchup there for the Sooners. Oklahoma has been a tough team to peg down this year, but it seems like with Woodard back in the lineup, this squad has really gained a lot of momentum and confidence. It's going to be interesting to see if that continues going forward. Woodard's return has really helped the Sooners, and this veteran guard leads the offensive attack, averaging about 18 points per game. And then we have the home team in this one, Texas. Texas has been one of the bigger disappointments in college basketball this season, as this once-ranked group back in early November now stands just 7-12 overall and 1-6 in conference. The Horns had a tough time coming through in a number of their competitive matchups thus far in the Big 12, but one positive takeaway for Texas is they've at least been competitive in nearly all of their Big 12 defeats. In their last outing, the Horns came up short on the road against Kansas, losing to the Jayhawks by a final of 67-79. Texas is coming off back-to-back defeats by 3 and 2 points respectively against TCU and West Virginia at home. This is still a rebuilding situation at Texas for head coach Shaka Smart, who's slowly implementing his system and his type of players here at Texas. It's just going to take a little bit more time than the fan base would really like over there. This has the ingredients to be another very competitive matchup in the Big 12. Oklahoma has stepped up their play as of late and have shown that they can get the job done in a tough road environment, while Texas has been a consistent competitive performer throughout conference action. In what should be another close game, we'll side with the improving Sooners and the points as the better bet in this particular matchup. All right, moving on here. The next game that I want to talk about is going to be over in the MAAC. I just want to touch on this game briefly. Canisius versus Niagara. Canisius was looking really strong there for a while in the MAAC, but they've fallen back as of late, picking up some recent wins to kind of fall back more towards the middle of the pack in the conference. The MAAC has a lot of teams, you know, in that mid to upper tier right now that are really jostling for position right now and seeding for the upcoming conference tournament that's about 5 weeks away or so. Niagara in their last outing was able to pick up a really nice upset win on the road against a surging St. Peter's squad. That was a great win for Niagara, and their defense really stepped up in that particular matchup. Niagara hasn't picked up a lot of wins in conference thus far, but pretty much all of their conference games have been in competitive fashion. A lot of their defeats have been very close, with the Purple Eagles coming up just short in a number of those particular matchups. Canisius was really surging and playing well, but they've fallen back as of late, and they have to go on the road yet again here. We do think Niagara, coming off that confidence-building win against St. Peter's, is going to bring the effort needed at home to really push this one as they go on to cover this 4-point spread here. Pretty solid value bet with the Purple Eagles. All right, moving on down. Another MAAC matchup that I want to talk about is going to be between Quinnipiac and Iona. The Quinnipiac Bobcats have been putting together a solid campaign thus far in the MAAC, even though they've been kind of flying under the radar, but they do stand 5-4 in conference, coming up back-to-back wins against Iona and Canisius. Quinnipiac showed at home that they could hang with Iona offensively, as they went on to beat the Gales by a final of 97-91, and that matchup was about a week and a half ago. Practically all of Quinnipiac's results in the MAAC have been in competitive fashion. Their only bad loss, really, in terms of games not being close, was back in early December against Monmouth on the road. But other than that, the Bobcats have been very solid thus far in MAAC play, especially in the month of January. Quinnipiac really boosts their offensive production with their strengths on the glass, as the Bobcats rank 38th in the nation in rebounding, as well as 108th in scoring average. And then the home team in this one, Iona had a tough time putting away Fairfield in their last outing at home, as the Gales went on to beat the Stags by a final of 96-89. Iona hasn't been as consistent as we'd like to see from a group that was one of the preseason favorites to finish in the upper tier of the MAAC. The Gales currently stand just 5-4 in conference, and it's going to be interesting to see where this group is able to finish. There's a lot of teams in the conference right now sitting in that 5-4 range, so the standings are going to shake out at some point, and this is one of those weeding out type of games here. Iona has really been improving, at least on the offensive side of the ball in conference play, but Part of that also has to do with the fact that a lot of teams in the MEAC play faster and don't necessarily have the greatest defense. But Iona has improved their offensive numbers, moving up to 55th in the nation in scoring average. And Iona is led by one of the best big men in the conference in Jordan Washington, who's averaging 18.6 points per game. Quinnipiac has been overlooked in the MEAC this season, but the Bobcats continue to put up respectable results both at home and on the road. This is a revenge game for Iona against the Bobcats, and even though we do like the Gales to get the win straight up, we feel like there's pretty solid betting value with Quinnipiac, especially with this spread shifting up. Was at 9.5, it's moved up to that 10 to 10.5 range. That feels like a pretty solid bet, taking the Quinnipiac Bobcats here and the points on the road against an Iona squad that they just beat very recently. And then just one more game that I want to touch on in this video very quickly is over in the WCC between Gonzaga and Portland. Devastating news for Portland. Their best player, Alex Wintering, is out, and without him on the court, the Pilots just aren't nearly the same threat on the offensive side of the ball. It's been a pretty disappointing year for Portland, and that was even with Alec Wintering in the lineup, and now with him out, we really don't expect a whole lot from the Pilots going forward. Gonzaga has been consistently dominating action in the WCC, both at home and on the road. Nigel Williams-Goss, one of Gonzaga's top performers, is a question mark for this one, and whether he's in or out, we still like Gonzaga to come through here against a Portland group that really has to feel defeated right now with their best player going the way of injury. So we're going to take the Gonzaga Bulldogs to go ahead and win this one extremely convincingly as they go on to cover this very large spread here against Portland. And that's pretty much going to wrap up the games that we want to touch on in today's video. Again, if you're interested in getting our daily free play over at our main website, you can head on over to stumpthespread.com by clicking the logo in the top right hand corner of this video on desktop, and also we'll put Stump the Spread in the video description if you're interested in heading over there. Again, if you're interested in getting more of this pick content in the future, you can click that subscribe button, and also if you can click the like on this video, it's greatly appreciated. It really helps us out. That pretty much wraps up what I want to talk about for today's action in college basketball for the 23rd of January 2017. Thanks guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next college basketball pick video. We'll see you then. Bye.